Okay, we've got a lot to talk about with UFOs today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please hit like and subscribe, and let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Yeah, and today I'm joined by Baxter, who's finally decided to get over his fear of the study since Benny has been in here so much. Now that Benny's out in the playpen so much, Baxter is slowly getting over his fear of the study. So, yeah, so say hello to Baxter. But okay, to start with, Chris Lato is saying that the range, the location where Jake Barber and the psionic assets are finding these UFOs, is in the Mojave. So let's give a listen to what Chris Lato has to say. Where is this enigmatic location?
Desert out here. So if we go back to the range out here, this is the area he's talking about, is the highest mountain range up here in the Sierra Nevadas over into the Mojave Desert. And this matches up also with what Dr. Stephen Greer has said. It's out in the Mojave Desert.
All right, it's in the Mojave Desert, says Chris Lato. I don't know if we wandered around in the Mojave, would we find a UFO or not? But I thought that was really intriguing. Meanwhile, Pro Pixels has debunked the China sighting of these objects here. Of course, many people were saying they were flares. Now, the retired Taiwanese general that was on that news program, he was saying that no, they weren't flares or anything else, anything else conventional. They were anomalous. So it's really interesting that this guy is, who would know what a flare looks like, theoretically, presumably, is saying no, they're anomalous. So is that disinformation? Because I tend to trust Pro Pixels here, and I think that he's probably right that we're looking at flares here. But again, if that's the case, why are they dropping flares over a big populated area? Why are they doing maneuvers there? Whatever that would entail. And why would a general be saying that they are flare that they're anomalous? So is that disinformation? Is there something going on in that area that may be a little alarming that they don't want to tell us the truth about? I think that is a possibility. That is a possibility. Meanwhile, Ross Coulthard is saying that a psionic asset associated with the Skywatcher has remote viewed or contacted the mystery drones. And the mystery drones he was finding are actually human-made objects. Let's give a listen.
What we really know about these drones, because the psionic that accompanied them and actually tried to psionically engage with the drones I'm not even going to use the drone, with the objects that were hovering over the Picatinny Arsenal. So they were within the restricted airspace over Picatinny Arsenal, which most people would know is an incredibly restricted piece of airspace because it carries a lot of the armaments that are really essential for that part of the East Coast. And, there's some really dangerous weapons there. And for obvious reasons, it's a secure national security facility. And the commandant of that base, the commander of that base, was genuinely concerned that there were these unauthorized overflights over the base, which, by the way, are still continuing. No, they haven't gone away, these objects. Right. And the psionic attempted to engage with them to see if they were NHI. And the psionic told me they weren't.
And I want to caveat that a little bit. And if you go back to slide 9.
Okay, so they go on and they start talking about, what this could mean if they're not NHI, if they are indeed human operated and human made vehicles. What the heck does that mean? Ross says, is this somebody sending an FU to America? And they don't reach a definitive conclusion on what these things are. But this is interesting because this is like the third remote viewing I've seen of the mystery drones, indicating that these are human-made and operated vehicles. Now, this is a global phenomenon. It's over, Germany. It's over Italy. It's all over the place. They're in Australia. So what could this mean if this is a man-made phenomenon? This is nuts. And it gets even weirder with this post here. with Matt Laszlo, he has some really interesting information on some of the ramifications of these mystery drone incursions.
But because Langley is one of the few bases that has a fleet, I guess 36 F-22 stealth fighter jets. I guess I learned all this last weekend. It's the 5th generation U.S. fighter jet. So these are the baddest machines in the world. Cost about $500 million a pop. So there's $12 billion worth of F-22s. And again, those F-22s, they can get to D.C. in 30 minutes. I mean, that's how fast they travel. So those F-22s at Langley in Southern Virginia are a part of the defense of Washington, D.C. and the White House and the nation's capital.
Right.
Yeah, we have other assets closer, but those stealth fighters, boom, they can be here in a moment's notice, 30 minutes. That's very quick. But the Pentagon had to move $12 billion worth of our next generation fighters to another base because of these drone swarms. Well, guess what? Guess what the Pentagon's brilliant idea was to keep us from happening again? They bought nets.
Okay, that's hilarious. But okay, so they had to move these vehicles, these aircraft, because of the mystery drone incursions. They're actually taking steps because of the drone incursions. Now, why the drones can't just go to the new location, I don't know. Are they going to be put off by these nets? So what's the deal, guys? This is such a weird thing because we know of, the Chinese spy that was arrested for a drone, a conventional spy drone a few years ago. So they have told us about foreign operators flying drones in the U.S. But this seems to be, a new order of a phenomenon with the potentially exotic technology that can't be shot down. There's so many of these. It's a global presence, whatever is going on. Is this the control group sending a message to the world? If that's, if these are human vehicles, what is going on here? This is such a disturbing phenomenon, especially if it's human made. If it's the phenomenon doing this, then you can say, oh, well, maybe it's to wake us up, to get our attention or something like that. But if it's not the phenomenon, if this is a human power doing this, this can only be to send a message to somebody, right? Or to some bodies. So, again, we need more information on this. We need more corroboration that these are human vehicles. Then maybe it'll turn out to be, not human vehicles. But very interesting and very weird, guys. It's a very weird situation. So let me know what you guys think. Meanwhile, from TO Red Octopus, American Airlines pilot reports long cylindrical object zoom by while flying over New Mexico. All right, cool UFO sighting. Look at that. What is that thing? I don't think that was a cloud. What? Is that a UFO? Are we looking at a legit sighting here? Is this CGI? Is this BS? Or is this a legitimately anomalous object? Now, I don't think that's a flare. I don't think that's a seagull. Not a raccoon. So yeah, what is this? What is this thing? Is this a legit UFO or is this CGI? Let me know what you think in the comments below. Moving on to the next story. We were talking about the location of the range, and theoretically they were operating out of a deep underground military base. This control group guys doing the crash retrieval. At least Michael Herrera has spoken to going to a dumb in association with that group. So it's interesting to think about the dumbs. Where are these things? Well, Red Pill Drifter has compiled a list of what he believes are locations of various dumbs around the country. Arizona, Fort Huachuca. That's a fun word. I like that. Gates Pass Base, Gila Mountain Area, Grand Walsh Cliffs, Green Valley, Yeah, just a list of locations. I'll link to this, and you can research each location at your leisure. But I think that was really interesting to maybe have some possible locations for these deep underground military bases. Obviously, hard to confirm or corroborate a lot of this stuff. Remote viewers have seen some of these locations and have even got a lot of information about those locations. But again, hard to really corroborate that. But it's really interesting to consider. Meanwhile, did you know that Abraham Lincoln was talking about the giants? That's right. J. Anderson posts, did you know that President Abraham Lincoln once wrote on his way back from Niagara Falls about the bones of giants being inside the Native American burial grounds? The eyes of that species of extinct giants, he said, whose bones fill the mounds of America, have gazed on Niagara as ours do now. And that's a photo of one of my favorite giants that was sent to the Smithsonian. And then the Smithsonian said, oh, it was made out of gelatin. It was a hoax made out of gelatin. This, 9 foot tall giant. And gelatin is used to fill in little gaps in fossils. It's not used to create a 9 foot tall giant. That's impossible. It's the weakest excuse ever, weakest debunking ever by the Smithsonian. Of course, they ended up losing a whole bunch of giants that were sent to them. And we have been, the researcher that looked into this said that he found out they were actually destroying these specimens. They were just taking them out and smashing them, which is such a crime. I hope that's not true. I hope we find them someday. Maybe we can go to wherever they were smashing these things and, find a jawbone or something. Maybe they didn't smash them all completely. But yeah, the ancient world was deeply mysterious. We have giants. And of course, we've got the Nasca beings. A sampling of the ovoid shapes of the tridactyl specimen Josephina. That I'm not going to be able to say that correctly, this is one of the researchers of the Nazca mummies posting about the eggs in the little Nazca beings, saying that after laboratory analysis revealed that it has chemical elements in its composition typical of an egg. So that is very exciting. We've had other studies done on the eggs in Josephina or Josephina, and yeah, they're eggs. They're not stones. They're not fakes or any other anatomical feature. They are indeed eggs. She is not the only one that was pregnant with eggs. There's been at least one other specimen of the little guys that was found pregnant with eggs. And of course, the human-sized Nazca beings were of a different order of being, and they would have given live births. They were more mammalian. Montserrat would have given a live birth. And the fetus inside her is known as Raphael, a tridactyl fetus inside a tridactyl being. It cannot be faked. The Nazca mummies are UFO disclosure. You cannot get the Nazca mummies without the involvement of others. They, again, different orders of being, different subspecies or races, whatever they are. Little guys, big guys, really big guys, the giants. We only have their hands. They are the oldest specimens of the Nazca mummies, 7,000 years old, carbon dating says. But they all have the tridactyl template. They're all built along the same template, even though they're completely different from each other. Some very alien, some more human, some egg-laying, some would have given a live birth. Totally different from each other. Impossible for them all to be related to each other naturally. And yet they were, because they are the Nazca beings, all tridactyl beings. Clearly, in my mind, created by one or more of the abducting races, because the genetic, the human DNA in the human-sized beings likely came from abductions. Now, these are likely hybrids created in the same way that hybrids are created these days. Nazca beings also have implants, as do many abductees. Speaks to continuation of culture, or an example of the same culture that is responsible for abductees or abducting is also responsible likely for the creation of the Nazca mummies. And I think that's really, really interesting. And I've made a whole video going over other pieces of evidence linking the Nazca beings or their creators with the abducting race or races that are taking people still today. But I love it. There's research that is ongoing that is corroborating these eggs as actual eggs. Really important stuff. Meanwhile, Jason Sands is posting this weird grid-like pattern that is supposedly on Mars. This is the Mars region named Atlantis Chaos. With some suggestions, it may be a ruined city. So why is Jason Sands posting this? Is this indeed, a photo of a ruined city on Mars? Is that what we're looking at, guys? Is that what we're looking at? You can see the grid pattern. Are those supposed to be like streets and things, and those are buildings? What is going on there, guys? Let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Let's see. What else have we got? Jason Wild poses this question. I thought this was really interesting. Why are we trying to reverse engineer the craft when we should be reverse engineering the ancient meditation practices that brought these beings to commune with us? We lost it, the knowledge, the technique, the state of mind that allowed direct contact. Instead of looking outward, we should be looking inward, because that's exactly what past civilizations did. Is that why the ancient Nazca people were interacting with the Nazca beings? Did they bring them in somehow or not? Who knows? But the Native Americans and people around the world in ancient days were definitely interacting with beings just directly. I mean, the Nazca people, the humans, were depicting the Nazca beings in their artwork. They were directly interacting with these beings. Have we lost that? Have we lost whatever abilities led ancient peoples to have direct contact with the phenomenon or elements of the phenomenon? Do we need to reverse engineer ancient meditation techniques to get back to that? I thought that was a really interesting question. I've posed the question before: is it possible to, look at, Hinduism and Buddhism and other faiths and, filter out the, what I would think of as the actionable stuff, the meditation techniques and the chakra information and information about chi energy and stuff like that is actually actionable, that you can actually use. Is there a way to filter all of that out? Maybe even to reverse engineer religion to get to the spiritual core, the actionable core at the root of it all? I think it's a good question, but let me know what you guys think. Meanwhile, let's see what else we got. The Republicans have identified them or have revealed the members that are going to be on the task force, Anna Paulina Luna's declassification task force. We've got Anna Paulina Luna, of course, Nancy Mace, Tim Burchett, Lauren Boebert, Eric Burleson, Ellie Crane, and Brandon Gill. So I'm really excited to see what this task force can bring to bear. And Tim Burchett. So we don't have the Democrats yet. They haven't released their members yet, but hopefully that'll come in the very near future, maybe even by the time you see this video. Very, very excited about this task force. Oh, by the way, if you're wondering why I'm a little lower energy today, it's because I am reducing, the amount of food that I'm eating. I'm on the dieta. The leading up to the ayahuasca retreat is a very restrictive diet. You can eat as much as you want. It's just not food that I enjoy eating, and I'm not eating as much. And also reducing the amount of caffeine I'm having. I'm actually supposed to get down to 0 caffeine. I'm down to a very little bit. But yeah, that's why my energy may be a little lower today. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about it all in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the like button and the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Discord, links below. Love to see you guys there. If you want to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below, or by becoming a channel member. Channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.